Hello, Steve White, Trek Boy 89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, Star Trek Discovery, Season 3, Episode 11, Sakal. I think it was supposed to be called, or they were calling it the Sentinel before for the trailer, and they changed the name and confused everyone. Yeah, I really didn't want to watch this episode. I was having a bad day already. Christmas Eve, my mother died a few days before Christmas, and Christmas has not been easy. I've always given myself a lot of stuff to do, but just stuck at home because of the COVID and the outbreak in Sydney and it possibly coming to Melbourne. Just it's been really difficult. And as much as I didn't want to watch this because I'm just like, oh God, I don't want to deal with Discovery. I cannot do it today. It actually was good to have something else to do for a few minutes, but it was so frustrating. I just had to go lay down, and I had like a nap for like 3 hours about halfway through the episode because I just needed a break from it. I sort of went to a happy place and stayed there for a few hours, but I eventually watched the whole thing. The overall theme and like problems with Star Trek Discovery, that we can deal with, that I've talked about a million times. Then there's the individual stories and episodes are not that bad, but then there are all these little stupid elements in them that are just so frustrating. Every time you sort of enjoy a scene, something will come along, and if you don't think about the show, it's kind of enjoyable. But as soon as you start to think, just you pull that little thread and the whole thing comes apart. Every scene is like that, and it's just really frustrating. So I'm going to try not to focus on that so much and just sort of focus on what happened. So you don't have to watch it. You can just find out here what happened. They start at the wake for Giorgio and Adora. I know her name's Adira, but in my head I hear Adora because I'm Adora from He-Man She-Ra. So Adora is like looking around at these people and like sort of like, wow, all these people are like a family. And Stamets is like, you're part of this now. You're a part of them. You get us together. We're a package deal. Blah blah blah. And then Gray shows up, and he just is like, oh, he turns and looks exactly where Gray is, and he's like, if we weren't at a wake, I'd give you a piece of mind, and walks off and leaves him to talk. And I don't know. I kind of tuned out. Gray was waffling on something about feeling lonely and isolated and going away. I was like, I don't know. I didn't care. So they get into the main story, which they actually reveal what the burn is this episode. So they state yet again that they've triangulated the information from the black boxes, and this is where the burn started. They discover there's a life sign on the Kelpian ship or the planet. I was confused. Was it a ship that they were beaming onto, or was this like some sort of construction on the planet? I couldn't really work that out, and I wasn't really paying attention on some level. I was just sort of writing my notes and watching bits, and that's why I had to go and take a nap. I was just exhausted. So, yeah, sorry. He takes Discovery into this nebula, and I love nebulas. They're my favourite episodes. I've got like a collection of all the nebula episodes of Star Trek I just watch. You can never have too many nebulas being penetrated. It's just the best thing ever. And that was the only good thing about Star Trek Beyond. That like 3 minutes where they're like going into the nebula, like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And then the rest of the film happened. So it's a bit impulsive and a bit destructive, and Michael starts to question. They seem to be setting up some sort of self-destructive Saru thing here, which I'm not really sure about. And then we have basically Book takes the Millennium Falcon in, and he passes out from the radiation because there's a huge problem with radiation in the nebula, which is a big part of the whole episode. And he comes back from autopilot and that, and information. What do you call it when they just give you information just because you need it for the story? Whatever, I forgot. Saru wants to go on the away mission and leave Tilly in command. And again, this is another sign of him being irresponsible because she's not ready. She was never going to be ready. The Admiral talks, and they've sent the fleet to Kaminar, Saru's planet, because the Emerald Chain is doing military exercises there. Basically, they're trying to get to Saru and the Spore Drive by going and attacking his home planet or something. So just like she did with Book and his family. Okay, so where are we? I'm reading my notes and I've already lost myself. Now I've gone in the wrong. I think I've gone in the wrong order. Well, Tilly and Burnham talk about the spur on the command chair, which it's weird. These characters have these sometimes touching moments. The actors do a good job, but then you have something stupid like that little spur. Like how would something that big be a fault on all the command chairs built decades apart? And how could Giorgio, the original Giorgio, the good one, they should have made a show about. I would watch a show about just Giorgio on the Shenzhou, before Burnham destroyed it all. That would be a good series, because I liked her. I liked the original captain. She manages to wear it all the way off, and it's like a piece of metal. What are her hands made out of, for God's sakes? So that's why you get this sort of nice story, well acted. I mean, nice scene, well acted, but then you get these stupid elements they always put in. So the crew basically beams onto this hollow ship or this area on the planet. I couldn't work out what it was. And they all appear as different aliens, which doesn't make a lot of sense because they're all aliens of the Federation, but so are they in the future. So I don't see why they'd have to change any of them. But we get to see Doug Jones basically as himself. Saru as a human, which is kind of nice. I guess they just did it for that sake, so they could play different aliens. It's how about we just have... It's just one of these things they just do. It doesn't make any sense. A lot of stuff, Discovery is wouldn't it be cool if? Wouldn't it be cool if? And they just do stuff, and it is cool, but then you think about it and you go... And then it starts to annoy you and you can't enjoy it. And that's basically what Discovery is. Colbert is a Bajoran, and Michael is a Trill, and Saru, of course, is human. And he suddenly has a fear of heights when they're doing something, somehow they're holograms, but it's affecting who they are. It doesn't make any sense either. Discovery spores out of the nebula to do repairs. Now there's 4 hours. They've got a 4-hour window, and they have to use 2 or 3. They've already been in for an hour or something. They've got 1 hour to sort of deal with this problem. So there's the ticking clock. The hologram seems to be stuck in a past era, when Camille, whatever the name, the Saru's planet or race's name is, joined the Federation 125 years and 3 months ago. They encounter a Kelpian elder, and there's a smoke monster. Michael runs away from it. She challenges it. It's the kid is the kid that is there was this whole world was built to protect him, and it's all a bunch of stories and mythology, and it's a bit of a mess, but it's kind of interesting. It looks interesting, but it's a little bit tedious at the same time. Now Tilly, she scans the area of the ship, and because there's another ship, and I think it's this guy. I didn't get this either. I really was tuning out and falling asleep at my computer. I think they were trying to work out if there was a Federation ship coming in. It was actually the Osiris hiding, and she said beam around, scan around the ship, and the neutrino emissions were totally different from that ship. And basically, there's the 2 stories. There's what's happening on the ship and what's happening on the planet. And the child is talking to Michael, and he asks if she's part of the hologram, and he restarts it all, and Michael has to pretend like she's a hologram. And Sarah hails Captain Tilly and just takes the absolute out of her, because she asks for it. She calls herself, she asks, where's the captain? She's like, I'm the acting captain, which basically she undermines herself in that one line. And she just totally reads her, and she's like, well, that's all projection, blah, 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 blah. Mary Wiseman is a good actress, and she is kind of good with the comeback, and apparently she's been coming back at some of the fat shamers, and I haven't seen any of those comments yet, but I'm guessing she might do a decent job of it because she did a decent job of this scene. So she might have that in her. Maybe there's more to Tilly than what we think, and it does seem for a moment like they're trying to build up Tilly like they're going to kill Saru, and then her or Michael are going to be the captain or something. You get that sort of anxiety throughout the episode because you don't want Doug to go, but you see how many captains they've killed and how many great characters they've just gotten rid of. Well, none of the characters are great, but I mean, some of the better ones have actually gotten rid of or changed. Basically, she just wants the spore drive, and she wants the crew and everything, and my God, see, I'm actually almost enjoying the character interaction. Tilly's like, no, nope, not happening. Nope. Yeah, no, it is sort of. So, Colbert, and then we go back to the plan. I really should have separated the two stories. Sometimes I'll just go through each story instead of going backwards and forwards, but it's just how I've written the notes. So Colbert, they're talking to the Kelpian elder, and they're talking about tradition and tragedy, and they name like the child like as like a gift, and they name it as a specific name if you have a tragedy. And Michael is confronting him about his family. He storms off. Michael sees the radiation burn, which I don't know why the hologram body would be showing a radiation burn on her skin. I mean, I guess they just are changing the appearance, but they're still depicting them as a real person. So if they got injured, it would show or something. Some stuff sort of makes you think, why is that happening? There's a legend about facing fears and a monster, which doesn't make sense because they have the Valhari or whatever. So why would they ever get to the point of having to confront things? They just basically wait to die, and then they just get killed. So that doesn't seem to fit with their culture in a way. They're running out of time, of course, and then Asara finds them. They basically she tracked them somehow, and used technobabble excuses, reasons to get there. And here we get to the part that just was like, what? We find out the burn. The burn was this child has been like born and raised on this dilithium planet, or planet filled with dilithium and radiation, and he's somehow mutated. And when he's confronted by this monster in this hologram world, he like sends out this like little mini burn, and what we realize is that he sent out the original burn. So at some point there was something that traumatized him or scared him to the point that he sent out this signal that just rippled through the whole universe and destroyed all the dilithium. And it's just, that's the burn. Now, Jessie Gender had a good point where she's like, well, at least it wasn't Michael Burnham. At least it wasn't the Discovery. At least it wasn't, one of the big bads you drag out like the Cardassians or the Romulans sabotaging something. At least it was something new, like the Discovery created all by itself, which is why it's just so stupid. One little alien on a planet sends out like this siren signal thing that it's just like, that's it? Now, it was funny to see Jessie say that I thought it was stupid, and then I sort of thought about it, and I started to like convince myself it was actually a good idea and interesting and all that. It's not interesting, it's not good, but she's right that at least they didn't do one of the really predictable, boring things. They tried to do something interesting, but they don't have the ability to do anything good or interesting, I don't think. So it was just like a huge what the hell, and yeah, so to me, that sort of woke me up a bit, and I think that was the point where I had to go lay down. And then the next thing I know, it's like 6 a.m. It's like, what time is it? It's like 7:19 a.m. here in Australia, and I started watching this at like 3 a.m. or something, and I had to lay down at like 4 a.m. and then I think I slept till about 6, and I was like, or maybe longer, and then I had to sort of wake up and remember, like, so that's why I'm a bit out of it, and it's a bit disconjointed. I sort of rewrote my notes, and it's a bit of a mess. So this mutated child created the burn, and it's basically some sort of scream or defense mechanism, or just I don't know what. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know what it is. It's just not good. Now Tilly tries to jump to escape. Asara and her soldiers beam onto the ship. They take over like that, just like no one. Apparently, they don't have security guards on. Like, where are the guns? How? Like. I'm glad that not Sulu, Asian guy. I can't remember his name. Rise. Sorry. The Phantom Menace call him not Sulu, and that's his first name because he didn't have a name for so long. But now he's Rise, and he's very cute, and I need to be nice. I'll end up meeting him at a convention sometime, and I have to be nice. He actually does sort of have a moment where because Asara basically is just like, yeah, get out of the chair, bitch, to Tilly, and just has a way with her, and it's like he doesn't appreciate that. No one does, but and Asara is a little, and the Emerald Chain is a little bit more intimidating, imposing in this. They've got this giant ship that does indeed remind us of the schemata from Nemesis, and it's a cliche. It's like, oh, the baddies always have to have this big giant ship twice as big as our little Federation ship, like the USS what the hell ever in Into Darkness. What was the name of that ship? The big giant twice the size ship that was all black. I can't remember. I think I blocked it out of my mind for the most part. Basically, that, and it has tendrils. Of course it has tendrils because it has to be monstrous because it's the big bad. So they wrap the tendrils around the ship. Now, at some point, and again, I just couldn't focus on it because my mind was just stuck in the burn is like this child's like coming. I was stuck in that. Basically, Adora takes a comm badge and basically beams herself to Book's ship. Michael's been back there, and she's trying to help them out. And then she goes down to the planet, and she sneaks a bunch of the medicine or whatever they needed to take to survive the radiation longer. She puts it in her mouth because apparently when the others beamed down and they were transformed, it took everything like that they had and it was gone. So she hid it in her mouth because that would work. Somehow she knew that. It seems very, so she beams down, and they've sort of got this sort of rescue because for a while it looked like, because Michael was arguing with them about who was going to stay, and it kind of looked like, we're going to kill Saru and Kolba again because you've got to bury your gays, and she's going to go back, and her and Tilly are going to run the ship because they got rid of a couple of guys, the less the better apparently in this matriarchy, matriarch Federation. They're just stuck, and apparently they're heading over there, and then boom, they see the monstrous tendrilled Emerald Chain Asara's ship and the Discovery sporing out, and that's sort of where the episode ends. And it's like, this is a two-parter, and I'm thinking, what is it, number 11? How many episodes are there? 13. I think there's 13 this year, so that means there's like 2 more episodes. So this is like the big ending. I guess it's winding up. I doubt they'll have like a double and then a single final episode. I think this is like a build-up, and it's going to like be one big story confrontation for the end of the season. But yeah, the burn was disappointing and frustrating, and but at least it wasn't, like Discovery a few weeks ago. I think everyone was relieved when it wasn't the Discovery that was in. Wow, I'm up to 19 minutes. I was going to do such a short review this time, and it didn't happen. I'm so sorry. Every time I try and make it short, I just get stuck on all these stupid things that happen in the episode, and I just can't stop myself. So I better stop. It's going to get to 20. I'll stop here. But yeah, that's everything that happens in the episode that I remembered or could comprehend or tolerate or remember, because I literally got so just drained by this episode. I had to go lay down, and I fell asleep for like a few hours, and I had to come back and watch the end, and then sort of I just want it to go away. I just wish it could be better, because there are these moments that you can kind of enjoy. Some of the characters are working, some of the actors are good, the effects sometimes are good. There are elements that work sometimes, but there's always these things that come out and just slap you in the face and say, "This is Discovery. It's not Star Trek," and it's just so frustrating. I'm just going to leave it there. And wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I'm not having one, but just because I'm bitter and twisted and alone and sad doesn't mean everyone else has to be. So have fun. Appreciate your family and your loved ones, because, you know, they could be gone at any moment and you could be alone and bitter and twisted like me. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe, and maybe even ding that little bell so you actually see some of my videos when they come up, and you might actually watch them and my channel won't totally die. That'd be a nice Christmas present for me. I'm going to go. Yes. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year and everything. Yep. Bye.